In the heart of a remote Javanese village stood a massive ancient banyan tree that the villagers revered and feared in equal measure. They believed the tree was home to a mystical creature known as the Genderuwo, a powerful spirit that could shapeshift and cause both harm and protection, depending on its mood. One day, a curious boy named Addie wandered too close to the banyan tree. He had always been fascinated by the legends of the tree and the mysterious creature said to live within it. With his adventurous spirit, he couldn't resist the urge to explore the dark, twisted roots of the tree. As he approached, a chilling breeze swept through the air, and Addie thought he saw shadows moving among the branches. Without realizing it, Addie stepped on a peculiar stone at the base of the tree. Suddenly, the ground beneath trembled and the air turned cold. The shadow he had seen earlier started to take form. A towering, hairy figure with red, glowing eyes and a hulking body, Genderuwo had awakened. The villagers had always described the Genderuwo as terrifying and monstrous, but to Addie's surprise, the creature did not attack. Instead, the Genderuwo smiled at the boy mischievously. "Why have you disturbed my slumber, little one?" the Genderuwo asked in a voice deep as thunder. Unaware of the danger and fascinated by the creature, Addie boldly replied, "I wanted to see if the stories about you were true." The Genderuwo, amused by the boy's courage, decided to play a trick. "Very well then, let me show you some magic," it said, snapping its fingers. Instantly, the village began to transform around them. The homes and rice fields became unrecognizable. Everything seemed to age and fall into ruin. The once thriving village turned into a ghost town, filled with haunting whispers. Addie was frightened, but before he could run, the Genderuwo spoke again. "This is what your village could become if you fail to respect the spirits that dwell in the trees and forests." Seeing the devastation in his village, Addie begged the Genderuwo to return everything to normal. The creature's eyes narrowed, considering the boy's plea. "Very well, but first, you must prove that you are brave and understand the importance of respecting nature," said the Genderuwo. The Genderuwo set a challenge. Addie had to retrieve a sacred flower that only bloomed at night deep in the forest, guarded by dangerous creatures. If he could return with the flower before sunrise, the Genderuwo would restore the village. With no other choice, Addie embarked on the quest. As he ventured deeper into the forest, he encountered strange spirits and eerie sounds. He had to use his wits to navigate past a vengeful spirit and avoid the mischievous, the hopping ghost. His journey was perilous, but Addie pressed on, determined to save his village. Finally, at the break of dawn, Addie reached the sacred flower. Just as he plucked it from the ground, a giant serpent spirit blocked his path. Summoning all his courage, Addie faced the creature and, remembering the lessons the elders had taught him about respecting spirits, humbly asked for safe passage. Impressed by his humility, the serpent spirit let him go, and Addie raced back to the banyan tree. As the sun began to rise, Addie returned to the tree, holding the sacred flower. The Genderuwo loomed over him. "You have proven your courage, young one," the Genderuwo said. With a wave of its hand, the village transformed back to normal, as though the devastation had never happened. "But remember, I am always watching. Respect the land, the trees, and the spirits, or the consequences will be dire," the Genderuwo warned. With that, the Genderuwo vanished into the shadows of the banyan tree. From that day forward, Addie and the villagers treated the land with the utmost respect. They began leaving offerings at the foot of the banyan tree, thanking the Genderuwo for its protection. The spirit, while still feared, became known as the guardian of the village, keeping dark forces at bay.
The story of Genderuwo is a well-known tale in Indonesian folklore, especially in Java. Genderuwo is a large, hairy, and menacing spirit believed to be an ancestral spirit or a demonic entity. It is said to dwell in dark, desolate places like dense forests, caves, or abandoned buildings. The origins of Genderuwo vary depending on the region, but most stories portray it as a malevolent being capable of mischief or worse. According to Javanese mythology, the Genderuwo is said to be the spirit of a person who has died an unnatural or violent death and failed to reach the afterlife. As a result, they remain trapped between the worlds of the living and the dead, inhabiting the physical world as a large, monstrous figure with a grotesque appearance, often described as having a tall and bulky body covered in dark, thick hair. Genderuwo can transform its appearance at will, and it is known for its ability to shapeshift, sometimes turning into a handsome man to seduce women, or even a child to lure victims. Despite its menacing appearance, Genderuwo is not always evil. Some stories say it plays pranks, while others depict it as dangerous. One of the most common stories surrounding the Genderuwo is its interest in abducting women. The creature is said to lure women into secluded areas, sometimes by appearing as a handsome man. In some tales, Genderuwo marries these women or impregnates them. The children born from these unions are said to have supernatural powers or unusual traits. Genderuwo is believed to inhabit large, old trees such as banyan or teak trees. Many people in Java believe that certain trees are sacred or home to Genderuwo, and it is considered disrespectful to cut down or harm these trees without performing a special ritual. Genderuwo is also said to haunt and guard abandoned buildings, caves, or any neglected locations. People avoid entering such places for fear of encountering the spirit, which may attack or play harmful tricks on intruders. Though frightening, Genderuwo is often seen as a mischievous spirit. It is known to play tricks on people, like hiding objects or making strange noises at night to scare those nearby. Genderuwo can also appear as a shadowy figure, lurking in the dark, watching passersby. Some believe that the Genderuwo can be summoned through rituals and used to protect people or places. In this form, it acts more as a guardian spirit rather than a malevolent one. However, summoning such a spirit is risky, as it could easily turn against the summoner. In many villages in Java, there are tales of people encountering the Genderuwo. One common story is of a man walking through the forest at night when he hears strange noises and suddenly finds himself face to face with a large, hairy creature. The creature stares at him before disappearing into the darkness. Such encounters are said to leave people feeling deeply unsettled, and they often report feeling watched or followed afterward. Another tale involves women waking up in the middle of the night to see a shadowy figure standing at the foot of their bed. The figure often tries to communicate or touch them before vanishing, leaving them with a deep sense of dread. In traditional Javanese culture, offerings are sometimes made to the Genderuwo to keep it appeased or to prevent it from causing trouble. People might leave food, flowers, or incense at the base of large trees or near abandoned buildings where the spirit is believed to dwell. In extreme cases, shamans or spiritual leaders are called upon to perform rituals to exorcise or communicate with the spirit. Genderuwo continues to be a popular figure in Indonesian horror movies, literature, and television shows. It is portrayed as a terrifying yet intriguing entity, embodying the fear of the unknown and the mystical power of nature. The story of Genderuwo is deeply ingrained in Indonesian culture and reflects the belief in spirits that exist in the natural world, a theme that runs through much of Indonesian folklore.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.